Just hope that the citizens out there see the service and the sacrifice that our officers commit to each day for people that they don't even know.
Now at 5, an officer who made the ultimate sacrifice honored 1 year later. 1 year ago today, the city of Indianapolis learned that a young IMPD officer was shot and killed in the line of duty. Officer Breann Leath, a mother, daughter, sister, and friend to many.
And today, her brothers and sisters in blue gathered at her final resting place to once again honor her bravery, dedication, and ultimate sacrifice. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares the thoughts and feelings of her fellow officers 1 year later.
It was a special and very emotional ceremony for many of these officers who were unable to attend Officer Leath's funeral last year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway because of COVID-19 restrictions. Well, today they got to pay their respects alongside Officer Leath's family.
She was a shining light. I think that the sunflower is an excellent example of her.
A sunflower placed at Officer Breann Leath's gravesite 1 year after she was killed in the line of duty. Here remembering her are female officers with Women Behind the Badge, a group Leath was a part of, her fellow IMPD East District middle shift officers, and the command staff holding a ceremonious roll call.
Baker 231, Patrol Officer Leath is now 1042 for the last time. May she rest in peace.
Breann has wanted to be an officer since she was a small child. I know most of you by now have heard the story.
Officer Breann Leath was family. Now check that. Officer Breann Leath, Bree, is family.
Her mother sharing.
She went out doing what she wanted to do from the beginning. And it was important to her to make a difference. And I think in her death, she absolutely has done that.
Coming back 1 year later, Chief Taylor says it's important to never forget those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
For those of you that knew her well, you are doubly blessed. For those of us who only got a glimpse of her, we could still feel her warmth.
Like all of you here today, I never thought my life would change forever a year ago today, but it did.
Lieutenant Michael Leeper helped train Officer Leath from day one in the academy, then later became her shift lieutenant at East District.
As an officer that at a very young age and very low tenure on the police department was doing things that were not often seen from a new officer, from going out of her way to pay for meals for citizens, from visiting schools so that children had a good interaction with the police. She was a shining example of what we expect out of each and every one of our officers on a day-to-day basis.
After her death and a year like 2020 that brought demonstrations across the country against police brutality.
Each of you put the uniform on and leave, and just like Bree did a year ago, you walk a tightrope. You do so knowing that if you fall one way, you come home to your family, and if you fall the other, you don't.
Lieutenant Leeper reminds his officers.
She had compassion and sensitivity in all of her relationships, and as we've seen on the day that she died, she had the strength and courage to do her duty and put herself in harm's way. You know, we constantly remind our officers that. We constantly remind our officers that the large majority of our citizens on a day-to-day basis love them, they appreciate them, and they go to bed every night saying a prayer for them. And that's what they need to see.
Stephanie Wade.
Just be safe. Please go home to your families.
WRTV.
Officer Leath left behind a young son, Zane. Today, the Carmel Police Department shared some touching photos on Facebook of one of their officers spending time with him. Zane and his father live in Carmel. After Officer Leath's death, Carmel officer Shelby Jellison reached out to them to show her support. The Facebook post says Officer Jellison and Zane have become very close, and on Easter Sunday, she paid a visit to Zane and brought along some goodies. And next week, you can join Officer Leath's family in honoring her memory by taking part in a blood drive. Her family is partnering with the American Red Cross and IMPD's East District for a blood drive next Friday and Saturday, April 16th and 17th. The blood drive will take place at East District Headquarters, 201 North Shadeland Avenue. The hours are Friday from noon to 6 and Saturday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can register by visiting redcrossblood.org, by downloading the American Red Cross Blood Donor app, or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS.